Hey guys, I have lately seen a lot of questions about deep pour resin versus regular two-part resin. So I thought I would do a quick video on it. So what I have laid out in front of us here is I have two skull molds. I have 2-to-1 deep pour resin, and I have 1-to-1 regular resin. So the 2-to-1, these molds take about 9 ounces, give or take, of resin. So in the 2-to-1, now this is Teexpert, I don't know how to say that, the Teexpert, two-part resin, or 2-to-1 resin. So this is 3 ounces of the hardener and 6 ounces of resin. The 1-to-1, this is my signature Unicone Art Resin that I use on all of my projects. This one is a 1-to-1, so I have 4.5 ounces of resin, 4.5 ounces of hardener. I did run this through my Resiner's bubbleless machine for 5 minutes because it is cold in here and I wanted to make sure that the resin was a little bit thinner, okay? So, I mean, it really is, there wasn't a ton of bubbles to begin with, but it was more just to give it a little bit of heat and to thin that down a little bit. The 2-to-1 resin, you can see there are some micro bubbles in there. I did not run that through the Resiner's bubbleless machine. I did that on purpose because I want to show how those actually will kind of rise out on their own. So we're going to pour this one. I have these molds marked. So this one is the 1-to-1. This one is the 2-to-1. I'm going to pour those in there, and I am purposefully just doing clear. And let me tell you, I have battled with myself on this. I have wanted to add some kind of glitter or something just to give it a little bit of something, but I'm not, because for this experiment, I want to make sure that we have just the clear in it so that you can see what the difference is in pouring these resins into these. Now, normally, if I'm doing a mold like this that is a little bit deeper mold, I will either do it in layers or I will do it in the 2-to-1 ratio with the deep pour resin. But for this experiment, I want to show people what the differences are and what are the do's and don'ts and why you shouldn't do this, okay? Now, I am saying that it is cold in here because I have my windows and fan going because I want to make sure that I ventilate this room very well while I'm doing this, okay? I will also have my mask on. So, all right, let's get going. So, this is our 1-to-1 Unicone resin. Now, I do like to tilt my mold towards the front. Because of all of the nooks and crannies in the mold, I like to tilt it while I'm pouring it for a little bit just to make sure that the resin all goes in those areas till about that point. Now I'm going to gently squeeze those areas, make sure that I have resin in all of those nooks and crannies. Otherwise, you might get like a weird bubble, which makes it so that the eyes don't look right or something like that. Okay, now I'm going to set it down and finish the pouring of the 1-to-1. Okay, so I guess I was off by a little bit. Looks like these are gonna take 10 ounces, not 9, but I'm not gonna worry about that right now. I'm just gonna stay with the 9 on that. And then this is the 2 to 1. I'll put a little bit in there. I squish that around, make sure that it's in all of those little nooks and crannies down in there. I do that with any of my shaped molds. That way you just fill it up a little bit and then you can squeeze them a little bit, make sure we have all those areas covered. I am making a mess because I'm trying to work around my camera until I get my new setup for my desk camera. I'm going to get a desk mount. Right now I've got it on a tripod and it's always in my way. So I want to try to fix that problem. Okay guys, it has been 3 days. I've been letting both of these sit for 3 days and we're going to take them out of the molds and see what we have. You can see I've got the 1 to 1 still marked and the 2 to 1 marked on each side so that we can tell the difference. Let's take these out and see what we have. All right, this one looks really good actually. I like the way it came out. This is the 2 to 1. You can see how pretty and clear that is. Doesn't look like it has many bubbles. When you look up close, it's super crystal clear all the way through. Again, this is the 2 to 1 deep pour resin that we just unmolded. Let's set this one aside and we're going to do the next one. And here is the 1 to 1. Now, when you look close to this one, it is cloudier than the other one. And it looks good in the light of day. But when you look really close, you can see some of the micro bubbles in here. And you can also tell has a cloudier effect because it cures so much faster. It doesn't have time to clear like the other one. Side by side, you can tell the difference. If you look through to my hand, you can see how the 2 to 1 deep pour is clearer than the 1 to 1 regular pour. When you're just looking at it in the daylight, it does not look bad. It's just not as clear as the other one. And I'm going to put these on light bases so that you can really see the difference when they're lit up. Because sometimes when we sell things, we are selling them to be put on lights or things like that. So this is really going to show you the differences. Okay, this is the regular 1 to 1 resin in natural light. It really doesn't look bad in natural light like this. It doesn't. It has a little bit cloudier effect to it. You can see a few bubbles when you look up really close, but honestly, it looks pretty cool. Now, here is the 2 to 1 deep pour resin. You can see it is much clearer. The clarity in this is much better. I don't see any micro bubbles in it or anything It just has a neater look to it because it is so much clearer than the other one. And now we're going to see them side by side in natural light. The one on the left is the regular resin. The one on the right is your 2-part deep pour resin. So side by side, they don't look that much different. Unless you're looking super close and have them side by side, you really wouldn't know the difference. But here they come on light bases. This one is the regular 1-to-1 epoxy resin, and you can see those micro bubbles all throughout it when you look at it on a light base like this. You can really see the difference. See all those little micro bubbles through the forehead and through the side. They're all over the place in this one. They really show on a light base. And here's the other side of it. Look at all those bubbles. You don't see those as much in natural light, but when you put it on a light base, they really, really show up. Okay, so now let's take a look at the 2-to-1 deep pour resin skull. Look at that under the light. When you look at all of the different angles, there are no bubbles in it, not one. Super clear, puts off a really pretty look to it. That light underneath just shines through. Even when you look up close, there are no micro bubbles in this whatsoever. It's just got a much neater, cleaner look to it. So this is the big difference between regular 1-to-1 epoxy and 2-to-1 epoxy. When you are doing these deep pours like that, it just makes a world of difference in the finished product. Excuse my fingerprints on that. I should have worn gloves when I put this on the light base, but I didn't, so now you see my fingerprints on there. I hope this helped and explained some things to everybody. If you do have any questions about any of the things that I used in this or how I did it, please let me know below. And if this video helped you at all, please like and subscribe to see more videos like it.